My name is Kim Maybon, and I'm the board chair of the Corona Chamber and owner of Creative by Design. Today is a great day with some important updates ahead, and we appreciate you taking time to join us. As all our weekly calls are informative, we continue to assist in creating vision and bringing a variety of speakers and topics. I will be sharing the agenda with our 2020 board chair, Don Williamson. Donnie?
Well, thank you, Kim. Today's call is sponsored by the Corona Regional Medical Center. The Corona Regional Medical Center is a 238-bed community hospital network. It's comprised of a 160-bed acute care hospital and 78-bed rehabilitation campus. It is certified by the Joint Commission, employs more than 1,000 trained healthcare workers, and has a medical staff of approximately 300 physicians representing more than 40 specialties. The Corona Regional Medical Center has a professional staff that works around the clock and cares for so many individuals. They are a wonderful partner, too, of the Corona Chamber of Commerce. Thank you, Corona Regional Medical Center, for sponsoring this call. Back to you, Kim.
Thank you, Donnie. As a reminder, please use the chat button to ask any questions. Send your questions to the chamber host, and we will verbally ask them at the appropriate time. Please welcome our President and CEO, Bobby Spiegel, for a chamber update.
Thank you so much, Kim. Really appreciate it. Looking forward to a very good and busy day today. Some great information, but I did want to give you that 90-day snapshot of things that are going on within the chamber. We want to start with this next Monday, July 12th. We have Coffee with the Entrepreneur, and that will be featuring Mary Vasquez. For those that are not familiar who Mary is, she is the founder of Miguel's Jr. and Miguel's Restaurant. And tremendous story. I'm not going to go into a lot of details on it, but I will tell you that it is a free event to be here in person at the Chamber of Commerce on Monday, July 12th. We do require you to register in advance so that we can have a nameplate prepared for you. And this is in partnership with the city of Corona. And again, that will be on Monday morning, 8 a.m., July 12th at the Corona Chamber. You can register on the bit.ly/coffee July 12th. The next slide that's up right now is our July 22nd economic forecast featuring Dr. Chris Thornburg. This is a partnership with 4 different chambers. The Corona Chamber is the host chamber, along with Brea, Yorba Linda, and Chino Valley. We have a presenting sponsor of United Paving, as well other sponsorships are available. As of right now, 239 people are registered. So we do have a few more seats, but we do want to definitely pack this out. It's going to be an excellent event. If you would like tickets or information on sponsoring, the bit.ly is /econ forecast July 22. The next slide that we're going to talk about, of course, is our Corona Night with the Angels. It's been a long time coming, and we would like to just proudly say that with our partnership with the Angels Association, they were able to secure us the very best game of the entire season. That is the Corona Night. I'm sorry, that is the Anaheim Angels, Los Angeles Angels, whatever, the Angels versus the Yankees. And that is going to be a great time. It's a 6:30 start game on August 31st. That is a Tuesday night. Tickets range from $30 to $140. I'm proud to say that we just rolled it out and we have 79 tickets sold so far. So pretty excited about that. Looking forward to having many more people from Corona and surrounding areas to purchase those tickets. And that bit.ly on there is /Corona Angels 21. There are other opportunities that are coming on up, and I'm just going to give you some dates. We don't have the slides up for them right now, but I did want to just have you reserve September 30th for our Women's Leadership Conference. This is a conference that is for Riverside County. It is the 10th annual, and I want you to put that in your book so that your calendar so that you have it. And in the upcoming weeks, we will have different information to be sharing about that. And then also our Advocacy Gala is coming up on November 20th. Put that on your calendar, reserve that time so that you can party with us and also help us to raise funds so we can continue to do these calls every week and all the advocacy that we do through our advocate guy, Jeff Gibson. So with that, I'm going to say thank you so much. I don't know if there's any questions or anything that is needed from me, but I'm going to turn it back over. Well, there's the slide on the women's conference. Go ahead and flash that back up. it's pretty exciting. It's going to be 10 different speakers, 10-minute talks, and then a physician panel as well. It's going to be quite an event. So put that on your schedule if you can. With that, Kim, I'm turning it back over to you.
Thank you, Bobby. Anthony, do we have any questions regarding these events?
There are no questions.
Okay, thank you again. Don, what we got going on?
Well, membership, as part of our chamber's advocacy outreach, these calls every week focus on relevant topics. Our business briefings are held to educate and empower our members. And if you happen to be on this call and you're still not a member of the chamber, or if you know a neighboring business that you think would find the membership beneficial, please connect with our membership specialist, Robert Yanez. He can help you to become part of our chamber family. Calls like these and other meetings are just one of the many benefits that you get for being part of this very active, thriving organization. We serve a regional landscape. We're not bound by any geographical limits. So please outreach to Robert, and he can review the many incentives for both joining and referring a business to the Corona Chamber of Commerce. We are growing, and the more we grow, the stronger we become, and the more influence we can have to support our business community. We invite you to help us make our impact even more profound with increased membership. Kim.
Thank you, Donnie. And just a quick update regarding these calls. We have changed the format a bit to make sure that you're able to fit these calls into your busy schedules now that businesses are all opening up again. So these calls will be limited to a maximum of 28 minutes in length, so you can get your information and get on about your day. So at this time, it is my pleasure to introduce Jeff Gibson with a legislative update. Keeping a pulse on what's happening in Sacramento and Washington, D.C. can be a full-time job. With Jeff Gibson's thorough and complete research, he helps the Corona Chamber to act timely on projects and initiatives that help make a difference in shaping our community. As owner of Occidental Communications Group, Jeff Gibson takes a 40,000-foot view on most proposed bills, then dissects them to our level and how we as business owners and managers will be impacted by those bills. His knowledge of complex political issues and the great relationships he has built ensure the Corona Chamber has all the tools to be effective on behalf of the business community. Please help me welcome Jeff Gibson to share a legislative update.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you, Kim. I appreciate that. So moving quickly through our two slides here. Our first slide shows the 2021-2022 state budget, and wanted to provide you with a deeper dive into exactly what's involved there. We talked last week about the threat, and we've been talking about the threat for a number of years of when the state is in surplus, which is relatively unusual. It's not unheard of, but it is unusual in the overall scheme of how Sacramento works. The example that I use is that we've been doing our work here for about 11 years, and those 11 years, about 3 of those years, including this year, are in surplus. About 5 of those are in deficit, and about 3 of those are break even. And so that puts us about obviously less than 30% of the time that over the last decade we've had 3 different governors during our work together. So looking at that span, no matter what party was involved, no matter what was going on, the state spends a significant amount of time in deficit or close to deficit. And so obviously when we're in surplus, we should be trying to continue to plan for deficit years. And we talked last week, and I made a commitment to come back with some examples of how the state is actually not planning for deficit years, even though their legislative analysts warned that starting a year and a half from now, the state will slip into a deficit. But to go over some of the specifics, so 3 of the big programs that are being supported by have received a very large and ongoing commitment are higher education, which we all support, and we're not saying we shouldn't support. Homelessness, which again, we always have worked very hard in the city of Corona to battle and to deal with. And then direct aid to families. Now that while all three of these things, I think everyone on the call can agree with or agree with in concept, the numbers involved here add up in just these three specific new spending commitments to the same amount that the state spent under the first years of Governor Pete Wilson. And so you don't have to go back very far to see that we were a state that was spending about 40 to 50 billion dollars a year. We had almost exactly the same population that we have now. Yet our spending commitment is $262 billion. So for roughly the same number of people. And out of that, we agreed to have a largely ongoing spending commitment of $21 billion to higher ed. And the problem that you end up with in higher ed, and the problem that you end up with the $12 billion we're talking about in new and largely ongoing spending for homeless programs. And again, no one is disputing that these aren't problems, that these aren't commitments that we need to make. The challenge becomes, how do you fund them year three? When the legislative analyst is saying year three, you're going to be out of money. So either we're going to cut those programs, or which is something that we go through routinely for our organization, which are fighting to make sure that Norco College and our community college system stays funded. That becomes very, very difficult when you have these very large in sweeping commitments in good budget years, and then say, and hit us up again next year, and hit us up again next year, and hit us up again next year, because we as business owners understand precisely what ends up happening there is in those deficit years, then we start talking about taxes. And so we're trying to fight not just for today, but for your future growth as well. So in looking at that, the higher ed commitment, and a certain portion of this is for programs that we have worked in the past. Specifically, some of the good news out of this budget are, one, a suspension of the rules around student assistance based upon how long you're out of high school. One of the things that we've advocated for in the past on the community college system is community colleges are designed for every single person on this call who has workers, who wants to retrain, who wants to pursue another avenue. And so, and those people generally are in greater need of assistance, or in at least as much need of assistance to fund that as you would see in a student that was just out of high school. And so by suspending those rules, now you're really getting the community college system into the space that it actually is the most effective for what we do as or what we need as employers. So that's good news. They're starting some additional infrastructure funding for some additional student housing and other issues. That's good news. The overall items, though, come out with a price tag which is pretty eye-watering of $21 billion, and becomes problematic almost immediately if your time frame goes past December 2023, because that's when just in normal economic planning, as Jerry Brown would talk about all the time, there are these things. They hit each governor. They're called a recession. And the next recession should be hitting somewhere around 2024, 2025. California, because of the way our economy works, is highly cyclical. And so we get in first and we come out last when it becomes an economic downturn. Generally, So those are things that are going to be of real concern for us. So that's one. Two is the $12.1 billion that are going to be spent on combating homelessness. The numbers that have come out on what it takes to battle homelessness in the state of California are eye-watering. You're looking at a 3 to 4 times the amount of money is necessary to battle homelessness on an individual basis in California as compared to almost every other urban state. In Los Angeles County, for instance, to build a single affordable housing unit costs more than $700,000, which is the amount to build almost any type of housing almost in any other state. So California has additional costs. We understand that. California has additional real estate costs. We understand that. But when you look across the other 99% of the country and see that none of those other states have these issues, you do have to start to ask why. And that $12.1 billion is part of an ongoing commitment from and this is something that we're going to have to pay a lot of attention to here in Corona, is part of a program called HomeKey. HomeKey is an ongoing program to buy motels and hotels and use those for homeless housing, both on a temporary basis and a permanent basis. And the challenge becomes here that motels and hotels are generally located in business corridors, and hotels and motels generally have created what are known as transient occupancy tax or hotel taxes, in which cities balance their budgets and run their company and run their organizations. So if you're removing that and you're moving that over into housing stock, you're affecting your business areas because they're not designed for housing stock. You're affecting your city budgets, which aren't designed are designed for hotels and motels. But the secondary challenge becomes, or the ongoing challenge becomes, that you can have cities dump their homeless issues in a city like Corona, which has a number of motels and smaller hotels that could be a target long term for these programs. So these are all challenges that we're going to have to pay attention to. And a $12.1 billion commitment in a state in which we can't build roads and all of the other infrastructure we need is a very large commitment of dollars. So that's the second portion of this. The third is an $8.1 billion, what's being termed as was originally termed, and the governor had to walk this back, as a taxpayer refund, which would go to the 2/3 of taxpayers that actually pay very little, if any, state tax, because most of the taxes that are paid in the state of California are paid by people who are earning over $75,000 a year. And so they had to reterm it into direct assistance to families. Again, that's not a concern for us in the larger aspect, but it's $8.1 billion in a state that is going to be facing more economic challenges in 2023, 2024, when this boom in government surpluses has worked its way through the system. So those are long-term challenges that we're keeping an eye on for you. I'm happy to have any questions, answer any questions if there are any, Anthony.
We do have 2 questions at the moment. One is the increase in funding for the budget paid for by raising my taxes?
Well, that's the point. Year 2, year 3. That's the way to pay for that. Year 3 and year 4 of these long-term commitments are paid for, are ultimately going to be paid for with higher taxes or budget cuts, or a combination therein. Like we talked about. So the economy in the state of California has grown substantially over the last 30 years. That is a fact. We're very proud of it. The population has grown, but not nearly as fast as the economy. The thing that has outstripped our economic growth and our population growth is the growth of government, specifically state government. State government has increased almost 9 times since 1990. It's 900% as large as it was in 1990. And in 1990, 1 out of 3 people that were moving any place in the world listed California as their destination. That definitely is not the case now. So at $262 billion, if we have any sort of blip or change in the economics of the running of the state, yeah, you're going to be looking at either cuts, which this legislature is very loath to have to do, or demands for additional taxes.
And we actually have quite a few questions coming in.
Okay.
I can combine one of these. What specifically should we be asking our Assemblywoman and Senator to do on this budget? And then another question was, will there be sample letters provided to us? So if we can combine those two, that would be great.
So the major piece. So the budget has been passed. So the budget has been passed. So that's what we're arguing over now are other are how those funds get apportioned. We have a talking point there at the bottom of the first slide, where what we're asking for is for that $75.7 billion surplus to be spent on economic infrastructure and investments that are both one time, but whose the long-term impact is felt year over year over year, much as the investment in the 91 freeway has allowed for the economic growth in the Inland Empire. Those are the types of commitments that we're trying to get them to get the state to make. So that's what we're trying to do. On sample letters, we can try that. The biggest piece of the puzzle is you calling your state legislator. Sample letters often get overlooked because they seem like, and they're a form letter. So what legislators really want to hear, and when we're in Sacramento and we're in Washington, D.C., what they really want to hear is from you specifically, as opposed to hearing from a group is nice, but it's not what is taken as seriously as, hi, I am Jeff Gibson. I'm a taxpayer. I'm calling. I only have a couple minutes. I'm calling to ask you to XYZ.
Okay. Yep. Thank you, Jeff. We do have some other questions coming in. However, they will be asked shortly. Jeff, I know we are on a tight time frame here within our 28 minutes program. Is there another slide or topic that you want to talk about in the remaining 2 or 3 minutes?
Yes. So what we have is the second slide shows the economic impact of the decisions that we're making in the state of California. And so we are facing as a nation, and it's specifically within 24 states. So the federal government has provides a huge amount of the unemployment insurance benefit boost that was for the COVID emergency lockdowns. What has ended up happening are those have been extended. There are a record number of job openings right now at 9.3 million job openings month over month from May to June. That is a record number in the United States. and the unemployment and the hiring has not increased to meet that. And the reason for that disconnect is that states like California are adopting and using their unemployment benefits from the federal government, which is tamping down hiring across the board, which is one of the things that you may be feeling in your organization. We are paying attention to that, and we are advocating that the state not follow through with what 26 other states have done and suspend those additional unemployment insurance payments, which were specifically for the lockdown, and so that we can get back to a system of hiring. And we'd be happy to answer any questions that you have.
Yet, so I don't know.
Okay, so we do have two more additional questions, and then I do believe that is it. Will any of the surplus be used to pay down CalPERS liabilities?
To pay down CalPERS liabilities? Very little of the surplus is being used to pay down any liabilities. In fact, the legislature struck the $1.1 billion that was requested by the governor to pay down the unemployment insurance liabilities of the state. So unless something is done on an emergency basis, no, you're looking at a long-term CalPERS liabilities of over $1 trillion, which is 50% of the California economy. So no. In a word, no, there is not a lot of effective assistance. The legislature took some action at the end of the last legislative session, where they felt like they had fixed for the time being the CalPERS issue, but obviously it's ongoing.
Thank you, Jeff. And last question is, with the upcoming recall, will you spend time in a future CCBB call on this topic?
We are monitoring everything that could possibly impact your bottom line. The recall has been set for September 14th. The number of candidates, there will be no other issues on the ballot, according to the Secretary of State currently. The County of Orange was considering another an adjustment to its term limits, but it has been largely struck by the Secretary of State. So the only issue on the ballot will be the recall locally. So as the candidates come up, we will discuss those on a later date. But the recall is September 14th is the date that it's set for.
Thank you so much, Jeff. And with that, we have no further questions. So back to you, Kim.
Great.
Thank you, Jeff and Anthony. At this time, we'd like to acknowledge a few individuals that are on the call today. We'd like to thank Jeff Miller, Chair of the Legislative Action Committee. Jeff Miller is proudly served our state assembly and was a Corona City Council member and mayor, and is a business owner for over 45 years. Jeff, thank you for chairing our LAC committee this year. Also on the call is former City Council member Yolanda Carrillo, and representing Supervisor Karen Spiegel's office is Wendell Bugtie, and Assembly Member Cervantes' office representative Omar Sohail, and President of Norco College, Dr. Monica Green. And let's see, as Jeff mentioned, please reach out to your local representatives, Assembly Member Sabrina Cervantes and Senator Richard Roth, both of whose contact information is on your screen. Again, thank you, Jeff, for providing us with those critical updates. Donnie?
Once again, we'd also like to thank Corona Regional Medical Center. The Corona Regional Medical Center serves our community and Corona, along with Corona, Norco, and Eastvale, and really are committed to quality. They're dedicated to the health and safety of everyone. They serve and do so with compassion and integrity. To learn more about them at thecoronaregional.com. Kim?
Thank you, Don. If you'd like to sponsor a future business briefing, please contact the Chamber. Register now to join us next Wednesday, July 14th for more advocacy news. Thank you, everyone, for attending. Our meeting is adjourned.
And I apologize. I just wanted to add Jason Scott, former council member and mayor, is on the call too, and I forgot to give that to Kim. Thank you, Jason, and I apologize all.
You don't have to apologize. I got here late. Glad to have joined.
All right, pal. Thank you. All right.
Bye-bye.